What is up, guys? I want to report on C952 computer architecture has been completed. Took me about 3 days with some pre-study time, and I'll tell you what I did for pre-study as if just to be fully transparent. And here it is. Once again, if you're not following along, I started February 1st, so this is my second class. It's being posted on the same day as my C++ because I took this one today, and I also got word back from my C++ that I passed that one. So 2 classes in a day makes me feel pretty good. So this is kind of the breakdown. I'll swing back to this towards the end. I want to give one shout out to one Redditor. I will post their Reddit in their post in the description, but this is probably a broader breakdown than what I did. And I didn't read the textbook at all. I mean, I saw some videos that included textbook, but I didn't really read it. I started reading chapter 2, and I figured I'd just watch the video instead. And that's how I went from there. But I'll link this in case you want the greater detail on how to pass this class. So, yeah. As far as my strategy, it took me 3 days plus the pre-study of the Quizlet, which, took me a couple days to memorize the Quizlet. So that's what I did. All I did was there's a 270 term deck that I memorized like a month ago that I kind of just went through. And then once I started this class, the first thing I did is went back through the Quizlet to make sure that I remembered all the terms. Took me a couple hours to do that. I took the pre-assessment. I failed the pre-assessment. I barely failed, I probably got 1 or 2 questions shy, failed that, and I was fine. So what I did is there's a video on the practice assessment. I watched that video. There's a popular topics that they give you once you're enrolled on binary calculations, combinational units, or I guess it's assembly language is probably the better word. I don't know why I put combination, but assembly language, and there's a video on this computation worksheet that they did. So I watched those 3 or 4 videos that included things on the practice assessment, included some things in the book. There's a worksheet provided by the instructor that I got emailed once I failed the pre-assessment. They sent it to me. It's inside the welcome page somewhere. You can find it. But I did that, and then after that, retook the practice assessment, and I passed. So as you can see, on the first, I took the practice assessment. I failed. I did all this stuff. Then attempt 2, that's what I did. Today is the 3rd of February. I just woke up this morning. I went through all the Quizlets again, and then just refreshed, kind of looked over this worksheet again. There's a 28-page study doc that I glanced over in about 2 minutes right before the test. I don't know if that helped me or not. And that's what helped me pass. So I'm going to just quickly talk about what happened during the test, how I felt. This is my first test since like 5 years ago when I took it in accounting, which I totally forgot. So I didn't know if I had the correct setup before. I should have looked up what setup you needed and where I was going to take it and all that stuff. I'll make a video about that later, but just make sure if you're taking your first test to make sure your setup is all correct, you have all the right tools and things like that. I felt 60% confident. It had only been 3 days. My thought, I didn't read the book other than like what the video showed from the book. My thought was if I failed, I'd spend this weekend to restudy and hopefully retake it sometime next week. So I actually felt 60% confident. I actually called my program mentor and said, hey, what do you think about it if I just like attempted and then failed? I just wanted to tell them that so they knew that in case I did fail. So they like think that I gave my best shot. I just basically memorized my Quizlet and watched 4 videos, which, to be fair, that's why I only felt 60% confident. So when I took the test, I actually bookmarked 33% of the test. So I think there were over 60 questions. So a third of them I counted at the end and divided it, and it was literally exactly 33% I bookmarked. Those are all the ones I wasn't sure of. The ones I didn't bookmark, I was about 80% sure that was correct. And I mean, it did good enough to pass. 50% of the test I felt was direct vocabulary that, like, from my Quizlet I knew. 25% was random trivia that I just guessed. And then 25% was the computation/binary computations, which on all those computations and binary, I was 60-80% confident on all those. So if I were to give you some advice, is to, number one, be solid on vocab and computation. Doing those two alone are going to get you really far. And then I would just know the basics of assembly. Everything I read on Reddit was like, you need to know assembly. And there were like 4 or 5 assembly questions I didn't know, I guessed. Evidently, I got them right and or enough right in order to pass. So I only watched that one video on assembly instruction. So if you want to be a little more confident, there are probably 5 to 10 questions on assembly. So I would make sure you know that. So going back, I'd probably read the book if I had to do it again, and or if I failed. That was my plan, was to just watch the videos. If I passed, I passed, and if I failed, I'd read the book, which is a hard book, it looks like, to read. And yeah, that is my experience. As you can see, I got, I don't know, this maybe looks like a 75, maybe it looks like an 80. I don't know what it looks like. Nonetheless, really don't care. I passed. Maybe I'm not supposed to show how many questions there are. I don't know. But 46 minutes. Took it today. And feeling pretty good. Let me know if you have any questions. I will link everything down in the description. And thank you for watching.